Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the March 3rd, 2026 Zoning Committee Work Session. My name is Douglas A. Welton. I'm the chairman of the Zoning Committee. This meeting is being streamed online via YouTube in accordance with all applicable meeting statutes. Requirements for notice, access, and minutes have been met by electronic means. Few orders of business before we get started. For those of you who are behind a microphone, please keep your mic muted when you are not speaking. And when you're going to make a second or make a motion, please state your name so that those who are listening at home can tell who you are. The public hearing for the zoning petitions that we are hearing tonight have been held at a previous date in front of Charlotte City Council and the Zoning Committee. This meeting is not a continuation of those hearings, so there will be no public input unless the committee has a specific question, in which case the committee will suspend the session and ask the petitioner directly. We'll begin with introductions of the Zoning Committee, and I will begin all the way to my left with Commissioner Millen.
Carolyn Millen, Planning Commission.
Michael Caparelli, Planning Commission.
Melissa Gaston, Planning Commission.
Teresa McDonald, Planning Commission. Erin Shaw, Planning Commission.
We will also introduce staff, and we will begin to my left with Mr. Patton.
Dave Patton, Planning.
Holly Kramer, Planning.
Michael Russell, Planning.
Max Oliver, Planning.
Emma
Canarajas, Planning.
Thanks. For those of you who are listening at home like a baseball game from 1965, Emma is out in left field all by herself tonight. So there's no one sitting next to her, and that has added a flavor to our meeting that we did not know we were going to get at 5:29. There are folks online, and if the folks online would introduce themselves, we would love to hear who's there.
Hi, I'm Natalie King, CDOT.
Brett Hyatt, CDOT.
Chris Mano, CDOT.
Isaiah Washington, CDOT.
Travis Miller, CDOT.
Drew Ritter, CDOT.
Is that everybody? I think so. Before we get started on our meeting, we will ask Ms. Kramer if she will give us a word of any deferrals or withdrawals from our agenda tonight.
Yes, a couple to review. We have one withdrawal that's petition 2025-085 by HK Cedarville. In terms of deferrals, we have 2025-036 by Rangeworks deferring to the April Zoning Committee work session, and 2025-086 by Pence Road Development LLC deferring to the April Zoning Committee work session, as well as petition 2025-127 by 4749 West Boulevard LLC, also deferring to the April Zoning Committee work session. That's all.
Okay, that first one was item number 4, the Cedar Vale. Is that what you said?
Right.
Okay,
2025-085.
that's withdrawn, you said.
That is withdrawn. And the other 3 that I mentioned are deferring to the next meeting.
Do I have a motion to accept these withdrawals, this withdrawal and these deferrals? Do I have a motion for the disposition on those?
Gaston, I move that we accept these withdrawals and deferrals.
Millen.
Second.
Wow, steel cage death match already on the seconds. And I'm going to give that one to Shaw. This has been moved by Commissioner Gaston and seconded by Commissioner Shaw. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those have been taken off our agenda tonight. And for those of you who are keeping score at home, that means our agenda is going to be a little bit lighter. We will begin with item number 3 on our agenda, which is rezoning petition 2025-118 by Charlotte Planning, Design, and Development Department. This is a text amendment, and I have a sense that Kevin is not here, but he looks a lot like Dave.
Yeah,
Is
there's
that
a couple
correct?
of references that Dave's not here. So anyway, yeah.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Kev.
Yeah, we're good. Kevin is not with us tonight, but we do have Faith with us, and of course we have Ellen
Excited. Are you?
Price from Solid Waste. No, I'll be.
No,
doing
Dave is still
everything.
going to do it?
Yeah.
She's just supervisor.
Okay.
She's keeping me in line.
Keep it in the road, Dave,
Yes.
okay?
So as we presented back at the hearing a couple weeks ago, this text amendment was originally filed back in October, did some updates to it in both December and January, just to clean some things up and add a couple of things last minute. We are addressing multiple items identified by both external stakeholders and our internal staff. We did engagement in October and November with the UDO Advisory Committee, provided an update to the Transportation Planning and Development Committee on January 5th. Had our engagement that same week on January 6th and 8th, and then, of course, had our public hearing just a few weeks ago, back on February 16th. Just some highlights of what's in this current text amendment. We talked a little bit about this in a couple of different settings. We are updating our ADU standards to increase the overall allowed size for some of those. So essentially, it's now reading that the heated floor area shall not exceed 600 square feet or 70% of the total floor area, whichever is greater. However, there's still the 1,000 square foot cap that we've got for ADUs in the ordinance. Also expanding where allowed outdoor markets can be established in the ML1 and 2 districts and IC1 and IC2 districts, as well as our office district. This is intended to try to improve food access in areas where folks do have some struggles with fresh, healthy foods. This is also something we were made aware of by the Carolina Farm Trust, who we work a lot with on projects like this, and they were looking to expand some of their options and ran into some of these challenges. So certainly wanted to open that up for more availability. We do have solid waste changes within the ordinance as well. This kind of highlights what those changes are. So for projects that have 1 to 11 dwelling units, they'd be eligible for city-provided rollout services. They would not be required to construct on-site solid waste space for dumpsters or recycling containers. If they have 12 or more dwelling units, this is for all development types, they are eligible for city-provided dumpster services. They would be required to construct those on-site solid waste services or on-site solid waste spaces, except for duplexes, triplexes, and quads. They would not be required to construct that on-site solid waste space when they meet the criteria of having buildings located on individual lots and those buildings are fronting a public street. So in instances where you've got 12 to 49 dwelling units for duplex, triplex, and quads, they're eligible for the city-provided dumpster service and again, required to construct that on-site solid waste space with the exception of those 2 criteria that we just mentioned and are listed there. Again, buildings on individual lots and fronting on a public street. We do have some changes as a result of House Bill 926 that was passed back in September of 2025, went into effect in October. The biggest change for us is the effective denial language. The state essentially said no jurisdiction in North Carolina can provide any waiting period in their ordinances for development-related permits. So things like rezonings, appeals through zoning board and other types of requests that have a denial process, you can't have a wait period to say when you can reapply. We did have that as part of our rezoning process. There was a 2-year wait period with some caveats that no longer is the case. So a denial, somebody could come in the next day and start the process over again immediately. Do have some changes to some zoning and development standards just in general in the ordinance. We did provide some flexibility on transparency for modular buildings. You can see those are typical of what we see at some of the school sites. Don't have a lot of windows, don't have a lot of transparency options. So we did run into some challenges with CMS. Wanted to partner with them to create a little bit more flexibility when locating those units on their school sites. Also flexibility for design standards for large healthcare institutions, mainly for prominent entryways and some other things where you have ground floor requirements where you might need more privacy or more security for a hospital or a healthcare institution. They can't always meet all of those. So we did want to provide some flexibility in those instances. Also setbacks for new wireless telecommunication infrastructure. That's something that we didn't necessarily have where a new tower didn't really have any setback requirements from existing residential structures. So any new towers would have to meet the fall zone requirements if they're located near existing residential. We do have some flexibility for driveway conflicts between the city and NCDOT. Really just provided some language where both organizations can work together to resolve some of those conflicts where somebody may need a larger size than the ordinance typically would require. NCDOT can work with CDOT and resolve those administratively. and also updated notice requirements for our floodplain regulations. Did make some changes after that February 16th public hearing, updates to the use table, which is 15.1, to allow indoor amusement facilities in the ML2 district. That again came up from projects in land development that were running into some challenges. So we wanted to create some flexibility for those, as well as commercial fitness centers, allowing those in ML2. We do see a lot of old industrial buildings reused for gyms and other fitness centers. Wasn't allowed in ML2. So that is something we opened up after the public hearing and talking to land development on some of that as well. We did update the effective date for the setback requirements for newly constructed wireless telecommunications tower. It did read originally February, that was our initial approval date. But after getting bumped a month, it's now up to March 23rd. So once that goes into effect, anything constructed for a wireless telecommunication tower after March 23rd would have to meet those requirements. Anything before is considered as meeting the requirements that they had in place once they were constructed. We did restore a clarifying term for detached for specifying development of a single-family dwelling on a non-conforming lot abutting a street. Very technical stuff, but I can assure you that was needed. And then we did update some language for our bona fide farms. Our definition, as you may be aware, Mecklenburg County did establish a voluntary and enhanced voluntary ag district last year. And we really only had a definition for bona fide farms that applied to ETJ. But you can have a bona fide farm within city limits. They don't have all the exemptions that they would if they were in the ETJ, but it wasn't very clear that you could still have them in city limits. So we removed some of the language that just said ETJ only and clarified that they can be in both, but the exemption for zoning standards and other standards really only apply to the ETJ bona fide farms versus the ones that may be within city limits. And again, that's to support Mecklenburg County's program. Overall, we do support and recommend approval. It is consistent with the comp plan and the goals. We do provide these updates frequently for the UDO. We'll have another text amendment later this year. We may have some other standalone ones to address some topic-specific things in between now and then, but overall, this is what's in the current one, and we do recommend approval, and we'll take any questions you have.
Thank you very much, Dave. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Commissioner McDonald.
McDonald, you're I think it was close to the beginning, the ADU
Mhm.
heated floor from our very literal friend over here. Are we talking about heated floor or the heated living area?
It would be essentially the space within the ADU that does have heated square footage. So if you have a storage area off of it that's not heated, that doesn't count towards the total square footage. So if you have, just another room in there that's not heated, not cooled, that's not considered part of the total square footage, that is considered that heated. So it's really just the space that's habitable with heating and cooling.
Heating
So
them to 600 square feet?
we're expanding it to 600 feet. It was originally 400.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then.
Well, no, it wasn't originally 400. So let me back up. So it was originally 50%, which in some cases, would result in a very small unit. That 400 popped in my head. We had some instances where we were working with Housing and Neighborhood Services and our Urban Design Center for their efforts to get some pre-approved or pre-reviewed ADUs available to the public, and they're currently under review by Mecklenburg County Building Codes. Some of those units were on the smaller side, and some were on, ranging anywhere from about 500 to 600-700 square feet. What we heard through some of those conversations were, we do have neighborhoods that have small houses, Elizabeth, Noda, other places where you might only have a 900 square foot home total. So that 50% really limited you to a 450 square foot ADU, which if you wanted to use one of those pre-approved templates that we're working on, you wouldn't have access to them. So that did kind of trigger a thought in our head of let's put it at a base level of 600. So if you do the math and you're limited, let's say you have a 900 square foot home and the math only gets you to 450, you would still be able to do 600. We also increased it to 70% as well. So it should offer enough flexibility for folks to be able to use some of those pre-approved designs that we're working on, and hopefully we'll have approved and ready to go in the coming months. But under the current ordinance, some of those would not be available to folks in some of our older neighborhoods that have some of those just smaller cottage style homes. So,
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
yeah.
Anyone else? Dave, I would like to ask a question on the solid waste.
Yep.
Dudema Bob, there were 8 million conditions in there. What's an example of something that falls through any of those conditions? Because like it's 12 units or more, all development types, except duplexes, triplexes, and quads. What would that be? What would be except those things?
So the exception for when you've got the 12 to anything less than that one, or 1 through 11, you're eligible for the rollout service for those development types. For the duplex, triplex, and quads, when you're within that 12 to 49, you've got the city eligible for city provided dumpster service. So you'd have to provide that and construct the pad to be able to put that out there if you want that city service. If the only exception to that is if you're on those public streets and you're on individual lots, you wouldn't have to build that on-site solid waste container for that project. So anything that goes beyond than that threshold is how we treat them today, which would be, you still have the private hauler service, you still have private dumpster service, but this gets into a little bit more clarity on when you can be eligible for the city provided dumpster service and when you have to actually build those dumpster pads for those types of services.
Okay. In my mind, I'm goofballing and I'm saying I'm building a cottage court and I'm trying to get 20 units on an acre. So they're really close together, but they're all detached. Which one of those do I fall in?
I'll look over to technical experts.
Those would all be considered,
Just so people.
Ellen Price with Solid Waste Services. I think in the example that you're using, those would all be single family, I guess detached, I don't know, homes. So they would be eligible for the curbside services.
Yeah, but maybe if they're a cottage court, there might not be a curbside to curb width. They would have to design a place to curb with. Okay. All right. I'm just asking odd questions because, that's how I roll sometimes. Thank you. Aren't you glad you came to our meeting now?
I'm glad that you.
Anybody else got any questions, comments? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item 3 on our agenda, rezoning petition number something here?
2025-118. Oh, wait, I'll get to the, there we go.
Yeah, 2025-118.
McDonald, motion to approve. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-118 as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Millen, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McDonald, seconded by Commissioner Millen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. We're on to item number 5 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-114 by the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Hospital Authority. And Max, you get to take us through this one.
All right, good evening. Petition 2025-114 is a 0.56 acre parcel on Lombardi Circle near the intersection East Boulevard. Plan proposes a private outdoor recreation facility associated with the adjacent healthcare institution on a site that is currently undeveloped. The site's currently zoned N2B, neighborhood 2. Proposed zoning is OGCD, general office conditional. Plan is consistent with the goals and policies of the South Inner Community Area Plan and is consistent with the 2040 policy map recommendation for the campus place type. The rezoning proposal calls for the development of a therapy park, an open space associated with the adjacent healthcare institution, following the prescribed conditions of Article 15.4 of the UDO. Will include elements like pedestrian features, seating, shade elements, raised garden beds, landscaping, fences or walls, lighting, and art installations. No buildings are permitted on the site. A minimum 25-foot wide Class B landscape yard will be installed along the southern and northern property boundaries adjacent to residential. One minor change since public hearing is the therapy structures and equipment proposed for the sites have been removed from the plan. And staff recommends approval of this petition as it aligns with the South Inner Area Plan and campus place type, incorporates the landscaping buffers for adjacent residences, and introduces amenitized open space along the Little Sugar Creek Greenway that may advance the 2040 policy goal of integrated natural and built environments. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thanks very much, Max. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Was there a reason why the therapy structures were removed?
I'm not aware
Okay.
if there was.
Okay, all right. If nobody has any comments, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 5 on our agenda 2025-114?
Caprioli, motion to approve. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by the staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-114 as it appears before us, and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
McDonald, second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Caprioli and seconded by Commissioner McDonald. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. We're on item number 6 on our agenda. Rezoning petition 2025-121 by the Huntington National Bank. Emma, will you take us through this one, please, ma'am?
Petition 2025-121 is approximately 3.67 acres located north of Ballantyne Commons Parkway, south of Conlin Circle, and west of Huffins Lane. The site is currently occupied. The current zoning is neighborhood services, and the proposed zoning is neighborhood services site plan amendment. The 2040 policy map recommends the regional activity center place type for this site. The proposal is to increase the maximum allowed square footage from 30,500 square feet to 35,100 square feet. All other conditions of the plan remain as is. The petition is consistent with the goals and policies of the South Outer Community Area Plan. The petition is in alignment with the Charlotte Future 2040 Policy Map recommendation for the Regional Activity Center place type. The South Outer Community Area Plan goal that is checked off for this would be Goal 1, the 10-minute neighborhood. The petition is consistent with the goals, and staff does recommend approval of this petition. I will take any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Emma. Does anybody have any questions or comments about this petition? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of item number 6 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-121?
Caprioli, motion to approve. Having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by the staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-121 as it appears before us, and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Millen, second.
It's been motioned by Commissioner Caprioli and seconded by Commissioner Millen. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. We're on to item number, is item number 7 deferred?
No.
Nope, 8 is deferred. Oh, okay, sorry. You can't mark on this, that thing. Item number 7 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2021-122 by Union Church. The people are leaving the room because their petitions have been heard. Michael.
Yes,
We haven't heard from you tonight. You got anything to say?
sure.
Okay, go ahead.
This
Give it
is,
to us.
Approximately 14.9 acres located south of East W.T. Harris Boulevard, east of Old Concord Road, and west of University East Drive in the University Business Park area. As you can see, this is an existing office building. And it's currently zoned Business Park conditional. The proposed zoning is Office Flex Campus. The policy 2040 policy map recommends the manufacturing and logistics place type here. The petition is inconsistent with the policy map recommendation for manufacturing and logistics place type. So, you know, even though it's inconsistent with the recommended policy map for manufacturing and logistics, the site and surrounding properties are developed really as office and campus uses. So the proposed Office Flex Campus zoning district is compatible with many of the existing uses in the business park. And in accordance with the UDO, the conventional business park zoning district was translated to the Office Flex Campus district. However, this property is currently zoned BPCD, which is a conditional district, and therefore it did not automatically translate under the UDO. So in the OFC, it permits a variety of uses that are in line with keeping the character of the area, which is primarily developed with office, medical clinics, and supportive uses. And the petition proposes changing the site of the campus place type, which is generally considered a more appropriate transition to the adjacent neighborhood place types than the manufacturing and logistics, which is incompatible with residential uses. So with that, staff does recommend approval of this petition.
Thank you very much, Michael. Does anybody have any questions or comments about this particular petition? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of rezoning petition 2025-122?
Gaston, having reviewed the petition and considered the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-122 as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Shaw, second.
It's been moved by Gaston and seconded by Shaw. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously. We're on to item number 9 on our agenda, rezoning petition 2025-129 by True Homes. And Max, would you give us the good word?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Petition 2025-129 is an undeveloped portion of a tract containing a church. It's approximately 4.94 acres in size, and it's located on the southeast corner of West Sugar Creek Road at West WT Harris Boulevard. The site's currently zoned institutional CD. The proposed zoning is N2B CD. 2040 policy map recommends the campus place type of the site. The N2B district is inconsistent with the campus place type, and approval will revise the policy map. The rezoning proposal calls for the development of up to 65 multifamily attached townhome dwelling units, including potential live-work units. All residential units will be offered for sale or lease to households earning 80% of area median income or less. An 8-foot sidewalk and 8-foot planting strip will be provided along the site's frontages with Brookstone Drive, and a 12-foot multi-use path, 8-foot planting strip along the site's frontage with West Sugar Creek Road. A minimum of 9,750 square feet of enhanced open space will be provided, with a minimum dimension of 50 feet. Buildings along public streets will be limited to 5 units maximum, and up to 2 6-unit buildings will be permitted on site. Units will have prominent front porches and stoops. Front porches will be covered and at least 4 to 6 feet in depth. A note was added since public hearing where the petitioner is working with CDOT and NCDOT to provide pedestrian facilities. And staff recommends approval of this petition as the proposed development supports the institution's mission by providing affordable housing for households earning below 80% AMI, introduces live-work units, enhances open space beyond ordinance requirements, and rezones sites and neighborhood place type adjacent to commercial amenities, providing housing diversity, access to daily needs. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Max. Where are those, you just mentioned pedestrian facilities? Is that within the site or is that to a connecting
It
place
would
on
be
the site?
crossing west of ET Ayers Boulevard, potentially.
Okay.
So that, there's no guarantee of that, but, but, so I wasn't gonna mention it initially, since there's no guarantee. They've committed to exploring options with CDOT and NCDOT to potentially install a signalized crossing, but CDOT has asked for further revisions to those notes, and the area engineer may be better able to explain exactly what's required, but I don't want to.
But that is an addition that if that were not there, your recommendation would not change?
No, it won't change our recommendation. We were in favor of the project.
Yeah, I just.
Either way, but I think it's a valuable contribution to the project.
Okay, all right, that's fine. It struck me as though I've driven on W.T. Harris Boulevard, so, it was like, I just wanted to make sure where it was and if they were adding pedestrian facilities within the.
No, NCDOT considers it a controlled access highway in this location.
Yeah, okay. Commissioner Shaw.
Thank you, Max. Just one quick question is, how long are the AMI restrictions in place? Do they expire?
Let me double check that. They are. Sorry, I should know this. I'll check the site plan, excuse me.
Okay, now I know which person you're talking about. Okay. I was confused about the one that was closer to you. Yeah, okay. But the road does that little thing like that, right? It's a big island there.
They do not include a time frame, but do note that they're, provided as outlined in the UDO administration manual. It depends sometimes it'll be between 15 years, 30 years, sometimes in perpetuity, given that the church at this time does not plan on subdividing the site. It will remain on their property. That may or may not affect the length of time.
So safe to say 15 plus years.
I would imagine so.
Okay. Thank you.
Teresa, did you have a question or not? No? Anyone else have a question? If not, do I hear a motion for the disposition of rezoning petition 2025-129?
Shaw, motion to approve. Sorry. Move to approve petition number 2025-129. Having reviewed the petition and consider the consistency statement prepared by staff to approve this petition, I move that we recommend approval of petition number 2025-129 as it appears before us and the adoption of the consistency statement as it appears before us.
Millen, second.
I'm gonna give that one to Millen.
I see.
That has been motioned by Commissioner Shaw and seconded by Commissioner Millen. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously. That is the end of our agenda, folks. Do our motion for us to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you very. All right, we're out of here, folks.
I'm not about the meeting. Emma.